call the, yeah, I already took it back. We'll call the, mayor and alderman, the board of mayor and alderman to order at this time. Call roll, please.
Mr. Glenn Smith.
Here.
Miss Heather
Here.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Here.
Miss Beth Lawson.
Here.
Mr. Gibson.
Here.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Here.
Mayor Stanley.
Here. In prayer, ask that you bow your heads. Precious Heavenly Father, thank you for another day that you allowed us to be here. And Lord, we pray for those that are sick, afflicted right now, and we ask you, Lord, just to be with our town, help it in its structure and growing, Lord. And let's always put you first in our life. In your name we pray. Amen. The minutes from October. I had time to read over the minutes. If so, can we get a motion to accept them as a read?
I make a motion we accept them as read.
Motion has been made to accept them as a read. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second motion, any discussion? No discussion, call roll please.
Mr. Glenn Smith.
Yes.
Miss Heather
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Yes.
Miss Beth Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson.
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Citizens input.
I'd like to thank the street department for a job well done. I came over late Friday, and reported a tree about to fall over the road. It was really a safety hazard. And they came out Monday, took care of the problem, did a great job, and I just really appreciate the effort they put into that.
Good job. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
communication from the mayor, couple of things that kinda been going down a little bit, with the county. At first, the county contacted me and they was wanting to see if they had a potential buyer for, the industrial park at the 141, there's wanting all 60 acres for a person, a potential candidate to build a business up there. But they wanted us to come down from $15,000 to $6,000 an acre and sell it to them. And in that, that's quite a bit of difference, about less than half. I asked them, you know, what the county could do as far as like giving in on that, what was their potential help on that. And so they said they have a building up there in the industrial park, John McGee. It's the J Sports Building. It's at the end of the industrial park there. They wanted to swap that out in exchange for us giving up the land and $6,000. And I told them that I just had to bring that before council. Well, talked to them again, and they said that that deal had kind of went aside. So that's off the table now. But what they want to do now is they want to look at possibly us selling them some land, well, exchanging land for the building out in the industrial park. And I don't know what that building is worth. Did go out and look at it. It does have some, it has, I think, one, the air conditioners is out on it, and it's got a couple leaks. But Trail Manor was in it last, and so they just kind of wanted to know, you know, Andy was supposed to be here tonight, but he got caught in some traffic knocks, so he couldn't make it. He's supposed to talk to him tomorrow and see what they think that building is worth, and to let you guys know that's going on. If, you know, if you're even, you know, they would probably give us presentation on it, tell us what they think it's worth. Of course, we probably have to have it assessed by our own people to see what's worth and how much. The land right now, I think, is either $15,000 an acre or $15.50 an acre. You know,
15 and 50.
I think the last we sold was 12.5. That's back many years ago. However, we have nothing in that land as far as, so it's just whatever's to our advantage as far as, you know, we don't wanna lose somebody coming in here and hold them up on the price. You know, if it's gonna create jobs for our city, you know, we have to take that into consideration.
well, there isn't gonna be any, there's no factory coming in now. So that was on the table earlier.
So
It's not
that's
there
no
now,
longer there.
no longer there. Because they decided not to go that route.
So they just wanna swap the building now for the land?
They, well, some land. We just kinda gotta figure out what our cost of our land is, and I asked some questions, like, well, what was they gonna do with it, and I think the counties just want some land to build on, which,
They're not gonna turn around and sell it or try to sell it at a higher
I
price
don't know.
than what they're getting it from us for.
I don't know,
Wow.
I would think so, but, you know, that would be something that
That's
we would.
really would be up in the air, because, when I went to a few of their meetings, and they keep saying, well, Caryville got the only land, to put industrial people in here. So they're wanting the land no matter what.
Yeah,
I don't like the idea of swapping a building for it, and then, I mean, they haven't done anything with the building, so what are we gonna do? We have any more contacts than what they do? What shape is the building in? Like you
Yeah.
said, we'd have to weigh that out, but, you know, do we need a building to just upkeep and it's sitting there? You know, they haven't moved it in this many years. I'd hate for us to get it and just sit on it and it keep deteriorating.
and that would be something that, you know, you might wanna get the key, go out there and look at it, And then, I mean, we could table that, I mean, we're not voting on that tonight anyhow, that's just something that's going on, and give everybody kind of, you know, let everybody know heads up what's going on.
Do you know how much properties with building out there?
It's not much. How
What's
much
the square footage on the building?
is it an acre?
I don't
I
know.
don't even know if it's an acre.
There's not much land at all with it.
No, it's not.
It's
If
just a
one of
building,
those top of the hill,
basically.
it's not. It could be an acre, but it's gonna push it.
What's the square footage on the building?
I think it's 22,000. It's, I mean, it's pretty good size. You put City Hall inside of it.
So the building pretty much covers all the land.
Pretty much.
Well, it's got a parking lot
It's got-
on the side, and then it's got one in the front, then it's got a pretty good place back there in the back.
Is there room to build anything else on it?
I would say not, could have parking and drive for.
I don't know, depending on what you're building on it, and, you know, I mean, it's a pretty good space in the back. It's as big as probably what David and them have right now in the back of where they're at. There's at least that much or more probably for that, you know. You just have to go up there and look at it and assess it, and we'll just see what they come to the table with, and what, you know. But, you know, and my thoughts behind it is, you know, if you could get a good deal on anything, it's probably good, but you also have to remember that what you're saying is true. Caryville's got the land, but once it's gone,
It's gone.
It's gone forever.
But
No.
I'm not saying hold them to the wall. I'm just saying that, once it leaves us, it's theirs.
It's theirs.
I don't think nobody here is gonna hold up jobs.
Right.
Like Ricky said,
Yeah.
if it's gonna.
Right now,
If it's gonna
Yeah.
create jobs in the long run, we're gonna gain.
Give them a break.
Well, I think
Yeah. I'm
what they're
all
gonna
for
do
that.
is maybe give, with that, I don't know for sure what they're gonna do with it. Maybe you'll give us some more insight on
I
that,
think
but,
let's just table it till we get more interest from.
yeah, I just wanted to let
Well-
everybody have a head up on that.
I do know that EL is trying to get industry in here. And it's hard for him to sell something that he really don't have.
We've always worked good with the county, and I think that, you know, if we get something that we can still work with them. I mean, it's not we are saying we got this land, we're gonna hold it ransom. We're not saying that. I think, like Vicky's saying, everybody else is saying, let's see what we've got before we turn it loose.
Yes.
That's the way I look at it, that's why almost that's how you all feel. I just don't want to bite something off when we don't have it out there.
How big was it 60 acres? How much is 60 acres?
It's that big lot on the other side of
It's like
the
63
matrix
or
there.
65 acres.
There could be a big factory in here or
Yeah.
something big.
I mean, if it is a big factory, then, you know, we all need to get on board with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We need jobs.
We do need jobs, everybody needs a job that wants to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to look at and work with the county, but I don't think we need to turn around and say, we're gonna give you this and we'll take what this is right here. You know,
The building is just sitting there. And the question I had is, when they're talking about having land and stuff, I don't understand why they're not trying to market that building since they own it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
can I
what I
get
was
somebody
saying,
in that
it's been
factory
sitting there that
first?
long.
I really don't see how that building would benefit us.
No.
I mean, which I'm just negotiating. I mean, they got something to trade on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's,
But
and I
I
think
do
that's about
understand.
it. I think that's about all they got to trade on. I don't think they have any money to trade on, to buy stuff with land. I don't think.
Has the land up at the 141, has it been appraised in a while? How much it's worth per acre?
no, the price was set back before the crash came. And also, that was money it was set that high to help the city run the city, because that's how we
That's all the
ran
money we had coming in.
run the city. That was the,
And none of them be gone.
you know, that was their revenue, selling property up there.
Right. And it sustained us.
And then, you know, that's
the
property,
whole time.
now the property's crashed, and the prices went down on it, so I don't know
We
where it's
probably need to
going.
get an appraisal. Someone from a place told me that the other side over there,
All on it.
I'm not sure who. but
Are you talking about
anyway,
across the
that It was
interstate?
going for a lot less than what we were asking.
The property across the interstate?
Yeah. So I don't know for sure, but that's something we need to check out just to see what property is, because they said, well, they have infrastructure over there too. You know, it's ready and, you know, you don't want somebody looking at yours and then say, oh, well, you know, this is we need to get comparable in prices, you know, to compete. And what's in our best interest. you
So
know.
we just need
If
to
we
get
got
an
jobs.
appraiser out and appraise the property.
Pardon me?
We just need to get somebody to come out and appraise the property. So
Yeah, come to a happy medium.
Yeah, right. If it's gonna put jobs in our city, you know, give them a break, if that's what it's gonna be. If it's just to hang on to it, you know, we're not gonna gain anything
No.
off of it.
Get jobs, save
Unless,
jobs.
unless they go out and they have more contacts than what we do, you know, through the state. You know, but we have to come to a happy medium for everybody, what's good for everybody. Cause you
Yeah,
know,
jobs are
TVA
important.
gave us that property, we didn't purchase anything and got, TVA gave us that property.
No, we bought that property on
We bought it.
grant.
Who did?
The city got a
The
grant
city.
to buy that property with it.
Oh,
It was bought on grant from the state. But, TVA owns the
How much
mineral
did
rights
we have
of
in
it.
it? How much did we,
I don't know.
I mean, it was grant money though, it wasn't any city, cause we had.
No, it all come through the state. See, the TVA owns all the mineral rights on that
Right.
property too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about, you know, what they got on their agenda as far as jobs coming in or what they're, you know. I know that there's one place that was looking up there and, there's a potential of another one going in up there, so by the time that it gets a couple of those places, it won't be that much up there anyhow, but, you know, we're willing to work with the county on it. But I think the only thing they got right now is the building. Yeah. I mean, that's all they got, you know, that's what they. And it's that building, they're not saying that they want the 60 acres, that doesn't mean that's not a big deal, it'll just be like a small parcel now. Yeah. Okay, and, that's about all I got going on, just the Speedway things coming along, and I have a little bit of stuff going on that road up there, I don't know if you wanna talk about that tonight, up there at the 141, going back that much, that's planning commission stuff.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that,
Yeah.
in planning commission. Okay, no, I talked, Scott Bowley from Heritage came over to the planning commission meeting, and he was talking about the agreement the city had with, Paul Province on that road, going into Comfort. Becky wasn't here, Erky wasn't here. Was you here the one?
Last meeting?
No, it was on the,
When we took it, road.
he wasn't here.
No.
No.
So it's just-
No.
Lloyd and the mayor, Vicky and I was out here. It's the road going into Comfort Inn is a city street now. The city took it in on the condition that Paul, at that time, they owned Comfort Inn, would take care of the road and maintain it, get it up, was it 5 years, Lloyd?
Yeah, they're supposed to put a 2-inch cap on that, and I got something to add to that. Down there where they're doing that construction work now, that road's tore up real bad right now. And there's gonna have to be a little bit more work than just a cap put on that now, so we need to watch that in the future.
Scott come here and he said today that the new owner of the motel up there did not know that this agreement existed. So he went back, he's gonna pull that agreement up and look at the agreement and get with Speedway and get with Comfort. And he said he thought both of them should be liable for that road and get it back in shape. Or since Speedway owns, actually Speedway owns the first part of that road anyway.
Mhm.
And they gave it up so that road could be a city street. But that's what Scott came from, because he wasn't sure what the agreement was, and do we still have that agreement on?
I gave him a copy of
You
that.
gave him a copy?
That a while back.
And that agreement?
Yeah, I've got
He was gonna pull that agreement and go back and then talk to the owner, Mr. Patel at the Comfort Inn on that road, and he's gonna talk to Speedway. And also he was, see what they, you know, what they're gonna do about this road, because with the agreement made, that, you know, that Powell was supposed to maintain it for 5 years, up to 5 years, and then he's supposed to cap it after the construction got through. So, you know, till they do, unless they live up to agreement, then we're not bound to take that road in.
5 years from the time,
5 years from the time that agreement was signed.
when was
It was signed last year, winter, about February, somewhere along there.
Because he asked us if it would be all right if after the construction went on, if we paved the road then.
Mhm. But you got to put everything back to specs
Yes.
and on, and that's what they were discussing now in Speedway and all. So I got a little bit ahead, thanks Mayor for reminding me of it.
Yeah. And I know there's an important project going on at Speedway there, so. Right.
You mean it?
Yeah. Financial report.
As of October the 31st, 2015, the general fund had a balance of $444,597.09. The reserves fire protection fees is $35,655.44. Reserve for the rainy day fund is $45,000. Reserve for the garbage truck is $30,000. The adjusted general fund balance is $333,941.65. The State Street Aid has a balance of $67,257.83. The industrial fund has $1,201.34. And the drug fund right now has $8,321.41. But some of that will be switched out for the police car. So we have a total balance of $521,377.67. Our revenue for the month was $95,866.88. Our expenditures were $125,443.07, with a negative balance of $29,576.19.
All right, you've heard the financial report as it's written read. Can we get a motion to accept it as it reads?
I make a motion to accept it as it reads.
Motion has been made. Can we get a second on that?
I second.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Glenn Smith,
Yes.
Miss Heatherly,
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith,
Yes.
Miss Beth Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Reports from commissioners. Would you want to start us off? Let's go through that order.
Garbage, we have 44 ton of garbage, 4 ton recycling, 7 ton of brush, and 500 pound of leaves. We mowed throughout the city and picked up brush and leaves throughout the city. Put a tile in on the Dogwood Road and rock around the ditch, put overhanging limbs on Elkins Road and Loop Road. And, we're gonna start on the, Toad Chambers Hill Thursday, taking the top of that hill off. And, hopefully it won't be that much of an inconvenience to people for bed. If the weather's gonna be good, we should be able to do it, you know, in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
And the Carroll Jackson Free Utility is helping us with that. They're gonna have to lower some of the sewer lines, and they're gonna pave it for us and all that, so that's gonna be good there. And,
That's a real bad hill.
Yeah.
You're blind when you come
I've
across
lived
it.
there all my life, and there's been tons of wrecks.
You can't see.
And I believe there's been 3 or 4 people that's actually died from injuries from the wreck, yes. Yes, over the past 58 years. That's not
You
bad.
can't see anything. It's like a roller coaster when you go.
Once we take that down, there's gonna be a lot there, it's gonna take that short top off, and once you get up there, you should be able to see both sides. And one other thing here, is there any way possible you think we can take the fence down over at the old ballpark over here?
Yeah, I don't see why we can't. Except for the helicopter.
Do we need to vote on that, does it need to be brought up?
We can just take it down.
Do it?
I guess we can take down what parts on our land now, we don't own all that land, do we? I don't know if we can,
What section is that?
Yeah, I'm talking about the old ballpark.
yeah, you're talking about Prince Scottish, right?
Yes.
Yeah, some of that's on Mr. Davenport's property now, and so I don't know if it's on your property, we have to get with Kathy, I guess, and find out if we're allowed to go in there and get stuff back off of it after we've sold it. Cause, I mean, even like those bleachers and the backstop, everything, I mean, I don't know if
The
that's.
bleachers and I think the backstop is the Davenport property.
Yeah, for sure, and the one that comes out there too, where it goes down Scotty's and starts around, I don't know if you can take that, I don't know.
Unless you get
Yeah,
permission.
yeah, unless they give
You'd have to give you
permission.
permission.
I think the main thing, Eddie, you probably just want that one side, right? Or you want it all?
David, street
Oh,
department.
it's the, I thought it was the helicopter.
Well, it should have, it gives us more, a lot more room for that too,
Okay,
yeah.
my bad. I thought I heard Eddie say that one time to me to help the helicopter.
Well, I asked to take it down a long time ago, and said he couldn't.
Yeah,
What, do you remember what the reason was why we couldn't take it in?
Wasn't on city property.
that hurts sometimes.
If it's for health and safety, you may be able to go in
Yeah.
for condemn it or something, I mean, there's ways, but
Yeah.
how bad you wanna do it.
Well, we keep it up. We keep it mowed for him, don't we?
Mhm.
Surely
The
God.
best way is prevention.
Yeah.
Just get that permission
Get
from him, I don't see why anybody would.
I called him here a while back,
He probably wish it were
the
down.
chicken station up, they checked it up and
Yeah,
said
they
that.
did that this
they-
weekend.
Yeah, and they'll do it again in a couple more weeks, so he told me, you know, as long as he owned the property, we could do pretty much what we wanted to, so build on it.
And just out of courtesy and just proper, I think we better act.
Yeah, I asked him every time, when the TWRA people call me,
I
I
think
thought,
that's taking offense.
yeah, I don't think he'd have a problem with it.
I wouldn't think so, I think he'd want it down.
Yeah. And that's all I got.
All right.
Okay. County Caryville Police Department monthly report for the month of October. We had 235 complaints. We had 1 escort. We patrolled 8,301 miles. We had 20 accidents. We've had 10 arrests, 19 citations, and 4 drug arrests. I'd like to say that our police department is doing very well. They are keeping the areas patrolled, and they're making themselves seen, and looks to me like 4 drug arrests is pretty good. And I'd just like to thank Brian. Good job with you and your guys. That's all I got.
All right. I ain't heard nothing but good about Brian. Everybody in the town is bragging on him, so. I mean, he must be doing a heck of a job.
Yeah.
I'll talk bad about it.
You might know some bad stuff.
All right, the library report. First off, I want to say, we did have a great turnout for the trunk or treat thing over in the city. I think we did, you showed up, Vicki was there, you came by, Brian and a couple of his officers were there, and Eddie and the fire department was there. I don't know, I'm gonna say 200 or 300 people come through.
Oh, that's
I believe
easy.
it was more than that.
Wow.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was like the most we'd ever had, I believe.
Yeah, so we had 5 or 6.
Well, definitely more than we had last year in the storm.
So, it was a huge success, and I hope we can just build on that for the next,
We threw around a lot of ideas that night.
we did.
Just
We
remember
did,
next
so
year.
maybe we'll have something, to work forward towards next year, so, and my sister helped us too a little, so. It was fun, I enjoyed it, and I hope everybody else did too, so a lot of kids
Yeah,
from the
that's great.
school came by.
I appreciate, Beth, you doing that, because I know it gets a little stressful sometimes adding something else to your plate, so
It is.
appreciate it.
But it helps when you have good people to work with though, so, and Brian, and like I said, Brian and his officers helped, and Eddie and the fire department helped, so it all went good and quick and easy, so. All right, the library report, let's see, we had 1,329, items checked out, 1,060 items checked in, 152 ebooks checked out, 10 patrons added and 5 deleted. 54 items added and 4 deleted. There was 413 people using the computer. Items on loan is 11. They borrowed 18 from other libraries for a total of 29. They held 5 children's programs, and there was 101 people in attendance for those children programs. So the total library attendance was 789 for the month. And then they also updated the web and the Facebook pages. They're serving as a voting station for the county's Name the Elk contest, which has generated much excitement among our school-age children. We're doing it at our school too, and the kids are loving it. I don't know, I guess they're coloring pictures and all that. They're having the best time with it. They had a Halloween party as part of the preschool story time, and kids came in costumes and had stories, craft, activities, and treats, and 30 people attended that. So they had a busy month.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. All right, Eric.
Like Beth was saying, we had five firemen show up for the drug retreat. And in addition to this last month, had 2 accidents with injury, had 11 men respond for 2.5 hours. Had one auto accident without injury, had 3 guys show up for a total of an hour. Had 1 brush fire, 5 men show up for half an hour. 1 house fire without injury, 9 people responded for an hour and a half. Mutual aid was given twice, total 10 men for 2.5 hours. Chief went up to the TA and met with them on some hydrant placement. Took about an hour to run through it, so for a total of 8 calls, 39 men, 72.5 hours. Appreciate it.
I don't have anything on the industrial to add, since we've already talked about that, you pretty much, summarized that. I would like to say, I made a couple calls, up in Kentucky about their code red system, early warning system, to see how it worked and how they obtained theirs, and, Laurel County, Kentucky said they got theirs through a grant called, CSEPT, I believe was the name of the grant, and, they said that all the people were very complimentary about it, because they've had several storms, to go through that area up there. One tornado, and he said, I asked him what their process was of getting it out to the people and how the people knew about it and whatever, and they, once they got it and started getting it into place, they just run an ad in the local paper and had all the people who wanted to be on it and be alerted to sign up for it. And then he said, we also do have a siren also that goes off for, for those people who live. And he said it worked really well for a 1.5 mile radius of where it was.
Where's it at?
So, right there at their fire hall in, wherever their fire hall is in Laurel County. So,
Oh, that's Corbin.
London.
So it's in London.
Yeah. He said he had, gave me a guy's name, he said if we got ready and wanted information, that the guy that contacted them to see, just where the best location would be to put it in their town, and how far out the range would go, and what kind that they would need for that area, because your terrain has a lot to do with, what kind you get. You can get them anywhere, he said, from, sirens up from like 4,000 or 5,000 up to 25,000. So,
I've never heard that one in Jacksboro, they say it's really loud. Where's it at?
It's at the Jacksboro Middle School.
At the middle school. I heard it's really loud. What do you know what they think of that one?
Jack,
Is that mostly just like tornadoes, or what did
Yeah.
they turn it on for?
that's.
I know they've been they tested it, but what is the siren mostly for?
In Jacksboro,
Yeah.
storm warning, I think is the
Just
only
like-
thing that they've used theirs for.
Like a tornado?
And then, I said, well, how do the people know, when the tornado's over, once it goes off? So he said,
You don't hear the horn no more?
well, no, no, they actually do have like
Yeah.
a short beep, beep, beep for
Oh, yeah.
whenever, well, I don't remember which was which, but there's a long one for whenever it starts, and then when it's all clear, they have a short beep, 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 or vice versa. But they do have one.
Yeah. Well, there's been several tornadoes pass over Caryville.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking that,
That's right.
I don't think we go wrong with getting some kind of warning system for our,
We need
citizens. That's
something.
what we're here for, is for the safety of our citizens.
Did you say they got a grant? Charles County got a grant?
Yes,
for
I
that?
did.
A federal grant. or
CSEP,
state-
whatever. that-
State grant, I think.
I don't know which it is. I thought maybe we could get with Mr. Loomis and see what he knows about it.
You know, something like that.
You know, if we pass it up now, maybe there'll be another one coming down the pipe, but I just like for us to stay on that, get something.
Yes.
And then it operates, I think he said the one he was talking about operates on phones too. So I know I got an Amber Alert the other day, and it was for
Yeah.
the person in Missouri that had took a child.
Down this one? That's the same day, I think there's one in Knoxville too.
Was
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he ended up, you know what, I didn't get one on that. I didn't get one on the person in Knoxville, but I got one from Missouri.
Yeah, I got that one like
Yeah.
4 times.
I didn't get it, but he killed that lady, I think. That's what they said on the news.
What's it say?
Yeah, all that's good stuff to have. Glenn, is it?
That's it.
I already discussed about the road issue with everybody, and all I got is the monthly rental on the utilities is $584.35, except for that monthly. But that road issue, we need to stay on top of that, make sure that we don't call that road up or not have to take that road over. I guess, David, you stay on that road up there and make sure that it gets done what Paul said is gonna get done.
The 141 too, at, the Adult World, I've got some complaints on them tracking mud and rocks out on the road.
Going out that parking lot and
Yeah,
on the river.
and I went up there, I took pictures this morning, it's bad.
Them rocks will tear that road up, when we just paved there in front of it. Them big rocks.
It's like 2-inch and 3-inch rock and mud, bad.
We need to try and watch that too. If you can do that, start maybe issue some citations for bringing the mud out of the road. Because
Yeah, I mean,
if you cut that road off, pieces of rock.
yeah. That, we'll take care of that.
I mean, it's only a temporary
It's just
fix.
like
that road.
contractor gets on, they're responsible for it. This is all they are.
You mean the people that's actually getting the mud on the road, or the people who owns the property?
That's a good question. I would say.
They need to fix their right of way there where people, you're talking about adult world, right? He's not talking about where they're building, he's talking about adult
No.
world, where they need to maybe fill in.
I don't know if this is the way it is, but I would say whoever rents the building is responsible for the parking lot.
No, the owner of the building.
What's that?
Depends on your lease.
Depends on your lease.
Sidewalk on
So the person that pulls out of the parking lot has mud on their tires is not responsible.
Maybe like you pull it out.
How could you
I mean, I don't know.
say, how could you say we're on a
Somebody
city the road here and I get mud on my tires and we get on the road, am I gonna come back on the city because I got mud off of your property to get on and go on the road?
So who do you think's responsible?
Landowner
So
or
the
the
land,
city,
so you think the landowner is
or
responsible?
whatever their contract says.
Yeah, you're talking to me mud on the public road or mud, or,
On public road?
well,
Can't be
I
worse than
had
that.
to, when I was, in my younger days, when I was a laborer for masonry working in Belle Meade, I had to sweep about a mile of Belle Meade Boulevard in the middle of the day because the mayor came and said, you're gonna be fined $100 an hour for every hour this mud is going down this road. So I'll just stash out there pretty quickly, but so it kind of depends on what kind of ordinances you have in place, there's all kinds of things. Yes, you can make somebody else responsible, but I don't know enough about to know what you guys have in place.
Right. I don't either.
I don't know that we have anything in.
Probably not.
So I
But,
don't know.
you know,
We can-
the Belle Meade is Belle Meade, you know, they're heavily regulated. Those $10 or $20 million houses.
Brian, you check into, they could work on that road and see what you can do up there, 'cause that road, that's only a temporary fix on that road, and, because we don't need it tore up. Get something done with it. Cause I think it needs to be.
We will do a follow-up on that, and we'll find out who will be responsible.
Because it, you know, it's only a small cap on there anyway.
That's a good idea.
They gotta fix it.
Could the person that's getting the mud on their tires from the property be?
Hey, you ever know who that is?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was, that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, you could do
You're
Is,
talking about crack on
well,
dogs.
could the landowner get them for theft?
Well, in my instance, I was,
It's either grant him,
It's, well,
Take the mud.
you take some from there.
they can do whatever they want to do, but here's the deal. I'd say whoever's got that building leased is responsible for it, if I was guessing.
I think we just need to research it. Find out.
if you're talking about coming onto the public roads,
Yeah.
the lease is gonna be between the landowner, you know, I thought you were talking about maintenance of their parking lot. If you're talking about coming onto the public road, there's going to be some kind of city ordinance preventing this kind of thing,
Right, but,
or rule or something.
okay, you got the city road and you got the property here. The debris are coming off of the property onto the road.
Right?
So whoever,
That's just like if you mow and you mow your grass out onto the road,
Right.
you're responsible
that's
for that.
exactly right.
And there is people in this
Oh,
town
yeah.
that will tell you to blow it back over there on your own side.
Yeah.
We hear it every summer.
But the question becomes, what kind of
What
procedure
ordinance
does
do you
the
have?
city have in place?
Because if you don't have an ordinance, then you can't do anything.
To enforce something, get somebody to put leaves, or
Right.
grass, or mud on the city road. I don't know if you have anything in place
We can do
like
it.
that, but you can do it. But I don't know if there's anything in place now.
I forgot to say the right.
Like probably not.
Can't enforce anything if you don't have a
We
policy.
think there is.
I know there's an ordinance there, but it may pertain to the industrial, to a subdivision about the mud being pulled out on the roads and stuff. I know there's ordinance up there, but it could be subdivision, so that could fall under a different thing. But we need to look into it and see.
Let's look it up and see where we fall and check in.
I think you should go to the adult bookstore and talk to them about that.
I'll let, police commissioner over there do that.
It's the street department.
I wouldn't have a home, I got that.
Part of your job to talk with the business owners
Yeah.
about their mud.
Oh, God.
While we're talking about follow-ups and roads, our interchange, remember we talked to T-Dot about the interchange out here, and I just had an observation the other night as I was coming down this way, that it was backed up completely off of the ramp coming from, Anderson County, coming northbound, all the way off the ramp at 540. If I could've got my car stopped to take a picture, because remember T-Dot wanted us to get
Yeah.
pictures of that. So remember, Lloyd, they had a plan plan, and then they were gonna revise that plan, and that's the last we heard, and I haven't heard anything.
They surveyed down here for 2 days last week.
They did? Yes.
It's on a Friday, so the survey.
Great, okay.
Yeah, but they could, it's until what they was really surveying for.
Well, at least,
Well, they got
at least they were visual on site, that's one step forward.
Well, I don't mean that in a bad way, they could have been pulling down from a satellite shooting some other grade or something.
Darrell Shepherd with TDOT, he told me that they took it, the original plan, they changed that. There's
The
gonna be
whole
something-
thing, yes.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's gonna be something else.
Like severe was excess. They do that. But, you know, we need to follow up with them on it, and before somebody gets, maybe,
It looks like they're dragging their feet.
well, you know, when, it just takes time for a big project like that. It's not like, you know, go out and dig a hole and put the dirt in it, you're done. You
Yeah.
know,
Governor's
like
gonna be there,
engineers,
it's gonna catch
and,
him.
you know, anytime we see our state representative, the governor, or anybody, we need
He's
to.
gonna be there this
He'll
week.
be here this week.
Yeah.
Governor will.
Here.
Yeah, he's coming out here, Campbell County this week,
Okay, where's it gonna be?
probably courthouse.
I was in Blunt County today,
We need to go and bring it to you.
it was about the road stuff.
Was it?
Oh, yes. You didn't hear it on the news, it was in Blunt County,
No,
it's about the roads,
okay.
the roads and interstate.
Somebody call him when he's coming down. Take him down.
There's no facts when he gets it.
Let's go. He never told me. I feel he might be a find out. You probably asked David over at the lawn place, he probably.
Oh, I bet David knows.
Okay.
City Group.
Right. That's our, count that as old business. Did you have any old business?
Well,
Okay, Eric's got something, okay, somebody.
only thing I can hope it is, I was, talking to Vicky here, about trying to get a painter to finish painting this building. We've got the floor, and we just gotta get a painter, and it's hard to find a painter who wants to come and get us a bid on this building.
Well, I'm actually, working on that with a guy. Come up here, first of last week, met with me on that, and he's getting me some numbers on there.
Okay, that's the only thing, because I've been trying to get a painter, and so we can get this job going, and especially come winter coming here, it'd be a good time for them to work in the winter time. I guess it will be a major job when they start.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I got.
The ball fields, I was asked this week about the ball fields on Asbury Park. What's the goal as far as timeline of that?
Well, we was trying to get the fences up, you know, at least by winter, so we can pour the concrete in the post. But, I mean, it'll take a while to get everything right. It's gonna, I think the last, I got about 4 or 5 different plans that Jerry's kind of drawn up. The last that I heard, you know, I'm not sure how far out that we actually own over there. As far as like the trees and stuff being taken down on one side for a parking lot or whatever, you know, to extra parking. So that's kind of, you know, when we find out that, I guess we just need to have that surveyed, or that should be on,
Mr. Bowen have that on file somewhere, or Scott? Yeah, Scott.
You know, property assessment.
yeah, properties and figure out. We just need to find out, cause I was told that our property goes all the way over to that other road, and I'm not sure that that's right. That doesn't sound right, does it?
I don't think so, I know it
Cause
goes
there's
back.
houses all over there, so how can that be?
Right. I know it goes back so far, because you know, you need the park in the back, so it goes
Yeah.
back into there so far.
Yeah, the park boots right
But
up
then
to it.
Scott might know where the pins are or something.
Maybe get a survey, get the things.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is what we want to take the park. We can talk about that, and I think there's talking about like, where the original ball field is we're gonna try this one will be like 200, and that one will be like 200 also. And then this one will be left the regulation size for softball field. Anybody, the old one, that way if anybody ever wanted to play softball, they always did make it, that's the only one left in county. As far as I know, there ain't even no left, nobody really does that much anymore. Well, they could do a good league with the right equipment, but they got so crazy with some of their equipment stuff, it was, you could build a ball field big enough to.
Tomorrow and get a printout.
Important. And then we'll try to get that. I'm not sure what the linear feet is. I mean, I know it's 200 down this, but that curve, I'm not really sure because we don't have one measure. So you have to, you have to do the first side of the triangle with kind of a curvature of it. So I'm not sure what the linear feet of that would be. And I have some other prints from the Dixie Youth book, and I think it's got that around that. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you can get both sides of it. You got to do the formula for the third triangle and then add that curvature on it. So, that's sure
I've had a couple just ask me about
easy. Well, we're trying to get it done. We got it in the budget, get it done, so hopefully we'll get it done and we'll have a place to play ball some more, even more, so. And I think the other thing is trying to give the kids like some of the kids that play there an opportunity to hit a home run. Like, there's no way they can hit baseball out of there at 12.
And then you put those temporary fences up and.
And then they go
Nice enough
over,
time.
and then the weeds grow up in them, and,
Right.
I mean, it is a mess. I mean, it works for the tournaments we have, but it just looks so cheesy when the other teams are here, and all those have nice facilities to play in that code, so we're trying to get there. We won't rush into it and do a bad job, so we're trying to get the one good on that.
The other thing is, we get Brian, you your new officer hired, how's he transition?
He's doing good. Last week was his first week. And, we put him in there as assistant chief.
Is there anything as far as pay been associated with what needs to be?
I probably need to talk about it. So, I don't know for sure through this probation period.
Which Kathy's not here now, but when we voted on that, the idea was to promote him, is your decision to make him assistant chief, which was, we discussed $15 an hour. As far as how we was going to advertise for the position, I mean, we voted to apply for a new officer and that Brian promoted and was hired. That was the complete agreement with Kathy, she kind of worked with us on that as well.
That's the way I understood it.
As far as the probation period, there was no discussion of anything like that. The 90 days for his benefits, that's typical with everybody.
So when you interviewed him, did you interview him for what,
Assistant chief.
assistant chief?
Yeah.
Did you all discuss pay at that time?
Yeah, I told assistant chief makes $15 an hour.
So is that what you left it at? Is that what's?
That's what I'm hoping he gets paid.
That's what we voted on paying, so.
I was not
So is there a
here at
problem?
that meeting. Yeah, I wasn't here at the meeting, so I contacted some of them and asked questions about him being hired, because I wasn't here, and what you discussed, and I talked to, several of the ones that are here, and as far as they could remember, the ones that I talked to, they didn't remember it being any amount of money being set. Now, I've heard you say that that was in fact done, but the other ones that I talked to said that that was not the case. And then also, they said their understanding is that he was supposed to hire a police officer and then promote a chief in-house. I wasn't here for any of those discussions, and I'm not really clear. That should be in the minutes
I was told that, you told, Brian that you was behind him on this.
I was behind Brian on hiring an officer. I was not sure if I was able to hire an assistant chief.
We
Is
don't
that what
have
you
that in
told
the
him?
budget. We have that in the budget, don't we, from our other assistant chief?
Does that not work?
It's in the
Well,
budget.
let me finish. First of all, it's just a temporary hire for me. You guys gotta come in and hire the person, okay? So that's one reason that I, when he said it was assistant chief, I said, I don't know if I, one, am allowed to do that. And the other thing is I know I'm allowed to temporarily appoint a police officer, and that's what I've done. Because everything else, like when I have appointed somebody, the reverse decision's been done on that. So it says that I can appoint somebody, and then you guys have to vote on that. Now, I asked 3 of the councilmen that's here with us tonight what they heard. Based on that judgment is the way that I done that, because I didn't want to hire him, and then you guys turn back around and say, that's not what we discussed. So I asked 3 other, and that's what they told me. So that's what I done. I had him hired. I told Pat to hire him as a regular officer, and that if that was, yeah, and I did tell Brian that whenever he wanted to get chief or whatever, that's assistant chief, that's on him. But my understanding is from assistant chief to chief that all that has to come before the board.
I think during our discussion,
I wasn't here, though.
right, but I think what I got from it was, that she said it would be better for us to hire a police officer and then let Brian promote then, instead of advertising for an assistant
That's
chief.
exactly what
And so,
And we
yes.
discussed according to whoever,
But she also said it could be the next day, you can hire him today, promote him tomorrow, whenever is what she said. But she said when you hire somebody, and she said it'd make more sense if you hired them as a police take applications for a police officer. And then you can promote whenever, because that's Brian's authority as his department, I guess, or whatever we were talking about. And that's how she said it. Hire a police officer, and that way you don't go through the whole thing of, looking for an assistant chief or whatever. And then that way you have the police officer position filled. And then if he wanted to look at one of the other officers and that guy or whatever, then he could promote that way, is what I took from it.
Well,
So,
I took it too.
I don't know if it meant, and then I
Did
questioned.
we talk about a timeline on when he could promote? Did we?
No, we didn't
No,
talk
we did
about
not.
that. Little time
But
on
I
it.
questioned whether or not he had to go through his 90 days as a patrolman, or whether he had to go through his 90 days as a assistant. And it was said that if he was hired as a police officer today and Brian promoted him tomorrow, his thing could go through as an assistant, like his probationary period, the 90 days, could go through as an assistant or whatever position Brian put him in. It didn't necessarily have to go as a patrolman, because I questioned that, like, the very next day, did I not call you and ask you that?
The probation period, that's what we're using for, to
Right.
see if he can handle that position.
Because I was worried that once they started talking about a police officer, that this gentleman would not, or anybody wouldn't come thinking, I'm gonna be hired as an assistant chief, or, as whatever, and then the first 90 days, I'm only gonna get paid $12 an hour. Because that's a big cut, $3 an hour for somebody to have to take. And I questioned it almost like the next day. I think I called him and asked him, and he looked into it. I don't know who he talked to, but he looked into it and he said that no, whatever position he is put into could be his probationary period. That's how I took it. I don't know about the rest of it.
I just feel that it'd be fair if he's doing that position to pay him for that and use that probation period for that time,
Right.
to see if he can handle that job. Because it's more duties than a regular patrol officer, which gets paid 12 months now.
Right. And I'm for that. I mean, if that's what Brian feels that he wants to do, he could hire him as that and then promoted him into that, and then let him go ahead and serve his 90 days on probation as the assistant chief. I mean, if that's what he feels he needs to do.
Right, and if that, I guess, I don't know if it's the 90 days, if you don't need 90 days. I'm not really
That was
sure,
kind of
the
for
clarification.
Benefits, wasn't it? Benefits, 90
It's a
days.
probation period.
It's a probation period,
But you want to
and
be on
I've not
probation
seen
for whatever
anything in the-
job that you're doing.
well, the reason I didn't hire him as assistant chief is because the last time that we did that, then we reversed that. So I guess it has to come before the board, that's just a temporary appointment by me, that's all that is.
Did you talk to
They
the guy
have to-
and hire him? Did you talk to the guy and interview him?
No, Brian did.
Well,
I
did
didn't
you
have anything to do
represent
with
that
it.
guy? Did you represent that we were paying him $12,
I didn't talk to him
$15?
at
No,
all.
I told him that we need an assistant chief and his pay would be $15 an hour, that's what they pay here.
Did you tell the mayor before you hired him that?
We talked a couple different times, yeah, I mean, and I told him I was hiring an assistant, and he said, go ahead and get him drug tested. So,
So he thinks he's.
He's already been drug
$15.
But we also thought that you was gonna hire a chief at the last meeting, so this is a different guy than we first thought. Kinda, you had a couple different people you were looking at.
well, we
So the
interviewed
last
3 people,
meeting, I was thinking that you was gonna hire somebody, whoever you was gonna hire, I think you went a different direction. So I guess what I'm saying is, I don't have the authority to hire the assistant chief of police. That's up to the board.
No.
Because that's what I did last time, and then we flipped the script, so that's on you. I can only temporary, he's only temporary right now. You guys gotta vote him in, that's what Kathy said. Brian is the only one, that, he doesn't report to any of us commissioners or mayor, he just runs that department. So nobody's over that department. So the only thing that the book says is that I can temporarily appoint an officer. It doesn't say temporary appoint, So I wasn't, and I didn't, and when I talked to the commissioners, I asked them specifics about pay, and none of them told me $15 an hour. Now I asked, and they said no.
We just
You know.
said he could, like Kathy said, go ahead and leave it out there as an officer.
I'm sure
on the
whatever was said.
application. And then she said he could promote. She said, look at the applications. If you find somebody that's good for your assistant chief, if you don't, then you could promote from within or whatever, whenever you want to. That was what I took it. So I took it that if he found somebody, he could get an assistant chief. If he
Well,
didn't, he could
huh?
promote from within.
You don't remember talking about that?
Money.
I asked,
But
I
if we're
asked.
paying an assistant chief
Okay.
$15, why would we go back and pay one $12 if that's what we've been doing?
No, that's not my point is this. He needed an officer. I did the same thing with, the last officer, what is, the last, Anthony. I temporary appointed him. Dwayne was there. You was there. That was a temporary appointment, and then it came before the board, right?
This
That's
year,
all that I was doing. I didn't have enough information where I missed that meeting to know what everybody, or what was said.
See, this wasn't a temporary appointment though, the temporary appointment
That's-
falls in with emergency.
That's the
placement.
only way that it can be hired, Eric,
This wasn't. a
other
temporary
than the
appointment.
board.
We voted to hire a police officer with Brian's discretion to go to assistant chief if he felt needed.
Then
That
he
was-
did,
that was
then I don't
per-
know why he called.
That was per Ms. Parrott's
We got to hold
recommendation.
it after the 90 days is up.
And then it's like she said, if we're gonna hire somebody, with him telling a guy that we're gonna offer him $15 an hour.
Then that was your hire, then not mine.
Exactly, it's the
Right.
whole board's hire. You
Right,
wasn't
but-
here.
right, that's what I'm saying, but I don't have the authority to do anything besides the temporary is what I'm saying.
Right.
So when he called, we didn't have a board meeting but I didn't know that they voted to go ahead and do that, so.
Alright, can we add that to the agenda then to,
It's done been voted on. We
we
voted on this
voted to
meeting.
hire?
It's Brian's decision to promote him. If Brian says he's his assistant
That's
chief,
true,
and
yeah.
he's got 90 days, she'll bring him back before the board for his
For his 90-day
probation period. And
probation.
at that point, we can say yea or nay. Like Brian said, he's sitting as assistant chief, perform as assistant chief.
So he can promote at any time, like Kathy said last time.
I
So you
remember that
have,
being
you have
said.
hired him in as assistant chief.
Is it, did we vote on it?
I don't know if he's did or not. That would be the minutes previous to this one.
Yeah,
Do you have those, Becky?
Yes, it says Vicky made a motion to advise for a full-time police officer, and Eric seconded. That's all it said.
To do what?
That Vicky made a motion to advertise for the police officer. This is September's minutes, though.
Well, I think it could all be cleared up with whatever Yin's wanna do. Then just, you know, I mean,
So
I didn't realize that Yin's had voted to hire a police officer. So when that happened, I mean, you didn't have to call me.
Sound like you guys are wanting to back up whatever he's done, so just make a motion to ratify whatever he's done.
that's what I was
Put that in the
saying.
minutes. Just
In 90 days, Brian has to bring back for us.
whatever y'all want it to be,
Right.
put it in the form of motion and vote on it.
So.
I guess it's,
Oh,
it's
my
not
pleasure to add it to
necessarily
the
about the
agenda
guy
first.
he hired, it's
No.
more about the pay. Is that what the discussion is, more about the pay than about what, that he hired him, or,
Pay in the time period of when he's gonna promote.
yeah?
There's no time period to promote. It's the department head's decision.
My understanding it is. I mean,
So if he says he
that
promotes
is
him right now,
what,
then he's
that is
promoted.
what Kathy said.
Yeah.
But I've never known anybody to get promoted to anything within the 90 days. Yeah, I mean, there's always a purpose.
It was always, to be voted to hire a police officer was Brian's intent as assistant chief. This whole discussion came about with how we should word the public's as what was gonna hire and what was gonna hire.
Whether you go back and put application back out again, or go ahead, and Kathy said, to go ahead and leave the application out as it was, because we did need a police officer. Then take the applications and see what you get. Then, if you don't get anything, you got an officer. If you do get something, then it's up to the chief as to
So
whether he
it
put him
was
into that position.
put on the agenda then, or Yin's voted on hiring a police officer.
No.
Yes.
Well, yeah, we did that
That's what the
before, and then
minutes-
Police
last month, we just said, leave it as it was. We didn't add another motion last month, did we, Pat? No, we left it as hiring a police officer,
Then Brian
and then
promoted.
Brian could promote whenever he saw fit. We didn't say, we didn't say he couldn't do it for after 90 days, we didn't say a probationary period would be as a road officer and then moved up to an assistant chief. We said it would be left up to the chief after the applications went out. as
Why
to who
didn't
he
you
put in
just-
that position.
Just a kind of a crazy question, why didn't you just hire a chief, assistant chief? Why didn't you do that?
She said we didn't wanna have to wait, we needed an officer, we didn't wanna wait the time to go back and repost everything again. Because she said he had the authority to put whoever he wanted to in as an assistant chief whenever.
Well,
It's confusing, I mean, I don't understand why they don't just,
He's
why
got
they
an
just
assistant
get an
chief, let's
assistant
pay
chief
him.
if that's, you know,
well, she,
I don't,
I believe where the confusion is, he wanted the chief of police,
right.
but the
Assistant.
people that applied and whoever got picked may not be assistant chief material,
So
so it was,
So, let me understand this, I'm trying to get this right. So you're saying that whoever applied for the assistant chief, they may not have the.
no.
nobody was applying for assistant chief
No, I'm
because it
not-
wasn't
Kathy
posted that way.
Kathy recommended us not to put in the paper for, an assistant chief.
Leave that decision to Brian.
What's that?
Leave that decision to Brian.
Yeah, that's what she said. Because out of the applicants, you may not got what she was looking for.
put in for assistant chief, you're tied to what you feel like you have to hire at that position.
And then he could promote whenever.
The moral of the story is we voted to hire a police officer. We hired a police officer. Brian has promoted him to assistant chief. The man needs to be paid what he's entitled to.
What we represented, if that's what Brian represented to him, and that's what he, after seeing his application, decided he would be his assistant chief.
I don't remember discussing money, but I don't ever.
All right, who objected? Does anybody object to the $15 an hour?
Has he already been promoted?
Brian represented that to him, that he
So-
would be an assistant chief.
He's assistant chief right
He is
now.
assistant chief.
But he didn't be paid $15.
That's
Did
right.
he get, so he got hired in assistant chief, not as officer?
No, there's a big difference, I mean, 12 to 15.
Well, see, that's what is, yeah, that's fine. What is confusing me is that I hear Eric say, we put out an application for an officer, and then I hear you say, we hired an assistant chief of police, so it's just a little confusing, because I thought,
To make it simple, the assistant chief is an officer.
You know, we've got a $500,000 in the bank. I don't know why we're squabbling over paying somebody. I mean, we got $521,000, and this is in the budget, and we're here to protect our citizens, and Brian needs someone to step up to the plate if he has to go to a conference, or he has off sick or something. He needs someone that he can depend on. We were short officers, so
How long have we been without
what he did
an
with.
assistant chief?
Probably close to a year.
Okay, so we've not paid none of that money out to an assistant chief.
So we're ahead of the game.
I don't think anybody has a problem with that, do they?
No.
$15?
No,
No?
I don't.
I mean,
It's
and you're
dismissed.
saying that's what you voted on anyhow, right? Eric says, and you guys voted on that anyhow, $15,
So
so.
we just need to pay the guy $15 on that.
That's what yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
One question, do we have to do anything after his 90-day probation
You
period?
have to hire
Yes,
him
we have to
after
come
90.
back.
Yeah, he's on probation for 90 days.
I don't know, with the chief and the assistant chief, it has, always interesting.
But you can't get final
It's
three.
been one of the neatest things to go through and grow through and experience it in
So-
my life.
If he don't cut the mustard in the 90 days,
Let him go.
then he's let go.
Do you want to let him go as an assistant
But
chief
you-
and put him back down as an officer?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
That's an option, yeah, I mean, that's an
Yeah.
option.
Okay. We're good.
Let's do some new business.
New business,
I'm not waiting. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
new business.
Council to approve the repair on the lights in John McGee Industrial Park.
I've got two estimates on light, those lights fixed out there, one from Copeland and one from Bellevue Lighting and Electrical. Copeland's is, $1,200 if it's just bulbs, $1,500 if it's for the full balances. And this other one here is, just for the bulbs is $434.50. And if it's just a ballast, it's $630.50. Both of them is $1,065. So I'm just gonna make a motion that we get, Valley Lighting and Electrical to repair those lights.
Motion's on the table to get Valley Lighting to take care of the lights in John McGee.
I'll second the motion.
Second motion, any discussion?
Does that come out of that far as you pay,
Huh?
money wise? Does that come out of industrial or what?
I've got $1,200 in industrial, I think. 120134.
Wiped you out.
Walked me right out.
It was up, $1,065.
I don't want it to come out of tourism.
It's fine with me.
It was not coming out of tourism.
There's something a little, I don't know, David, there is something a little different with the tourism because the lights are in there, but if you looked at your budget, it's like crazy, it's like $150,000 or something, because the street lights are in there.
We paid to fix the fence.
We took the fence out of her budget. Why did we take the fence out of her budget? Over here at Main Street.
David said
What are you talking about?
before it came out tourism, is that not right? It didn't.
Fence over here in town that was between buildings.
I don't know what that.
I don't know why they have to do that reason.
No, but I don't know why the, lights are in the tourism, but they are, it's like $107,000 for the street lights.
With these out here, I can understand, right off the interstate, that would.
No, they've always been in there. I've never understood that. It's not tourism money, it's not actually.
Now, he may
I
not
think the
pay.
lady at the ball
tourism.
field comes out of that too, doesn't it? The lady at the ball field, didn't it come out of tourism account or something like that at one time?
Like, we can change it at any time.
The bills paid or something.
Pretty big, let's see what's in that. $72,000 in tourism.
Hey, I have plans for that.
But I think that breaks down somehow with the street lights is what I'm thinking.
At one time. I
Yeah,
think
it's-
it did.
It's always been that way. I don't care what you pay out.
We'll use $50's $1,200.
Well, it may not cost that much money, that is if it's, we can do the whole thing. I mean, it could just be above, or it could just be balances. So it could be $434, or it could be
Well, it
$600.
has to be done, so.
Yeah.
That's fine, just waiting for it.
Here we go swapping over $300.
We
Maybe
did.
not $1 million.
Yes.
Bad, it's just where to
Money
pay it
later.
out.
No other discussion on that,
It's
call roll,
not bad,
please.
it's just where, what the department to pay it out.
Yeah.
Mr. Glenn Smith,
Yes.
Miss Heatherly.
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith,
Yes.
Miss Beth Lawson, Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson,
Yes.
Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Council to approve 2 rear tires for the street department backhoe to purchase from Co-op, $550 each, total $1,100.
David got some quotes on that, and the co-op was the cheapest tires. I'll make a motion that we purchase these tires for the backhoe.
Second motion, any discussion?
They're gonna have fluid in it, Lord.
No,
It's gonna be tubeless.
Huge.
Mr. Glenn Smith,
Yes.
Miss Heatherly.
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith, Miss Beth Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson,
Yes.
Mayor Stanley.
Yes. Discuss Thanksgiving turkeys. David?
I would like to, the city to purchase turkeys for, all employees for Thanksgiving, to do something. I know we don't do anything for, like, the regular employees for Thanksgiving. I know we do for Christmas, you know, everybody gets a bonus and stuff. But I was thinking the other day that it would be nice if we could, maybe purchase, just a Thanksgiving turkey for all the employees.
And I include our volunteer fire department
Yes,
people in
and
with that too.
And I think the fire department
Fire
needs to be
department.
included, because if, you know, if we didn't have them, I know our insurances would be sky high. And they, you know, you sit here and hear Eric read reports every month of all the hard work that they do, and, you know, they are volunteers, and I sure do appreciate them. I did check around today, I don't know if any of y'all know Joe Blackwell that works down at ShopRite in Lake City.
Yep.
I called him, he's got kids over at the school, so I thought I'd talk to him first, and that's also where Pal Clinch gets theirs at, cause we get turkeys for Thanksgiving through them. And, he said that, you know, it's kinda like everything else, you have to look at the sales papers and stuff, sometimes you can get them for like 99 cents a pound or whatever. But he said about average, he said would be like a 14 to 16 or even, you know, up to a 20 pound. And if you can get them for 79 to 99 cents, you're looking at, say, up to like $20 for a turkey. and I counted, there's 15 regular employees here, and then there's 21 firefighters. So, I mean, it's gonna cost, if you add that up, it's like right at $700 or $800. But I mean, it's the least we can do for these people. I mean, this is their job, you know, I mean, and you need to make them feel like they're appreciated around here. I mean, it's just a small gesture, but I just wanted to know what you all thought, because I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. We never get the opportunity really to thank all of our volunteer fire department people.
No,
Um,
they've done excellent,
And
always.
15 regular employees isn't a lot, you know, I mean, considering we are a small town, but, you know, every once in a while, it doesn't hurt to say thank you and give back to somebody, give somebody back something. Make them work extra, a little bit harder maybe if they feel appreciated.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Second.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Glenn Smith,
No.
Miss Heatherly. Yes. Mr. Eric Smith,
Yes.
Miss Beth Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson,
No.
Mayor Stanley.
No.
All right, the next one's mine also. While we were at the trunk or treat over there the other day, I thought about, okay, what could we do for the next holiday for the town? So since I'm in the whole giving mood, I thought maybe we could, I thought, you know, over there at the end of that corner, at that old ball field, there used to be a Christmas tree there years ago, and the city lit it up with lights and stuff, and it got cut down. I don't know how or why or when or whatever, but it did. But I was thinking about, you know, trying to do something, you know, you had, like, Follett done that big RV thing, or not RV, the ATV thing up there last month, and they had great turnout and all that stuff, helped promote, you know, things for the city. So I was thinking about purchasing a Christmas tree, one that could be put up and took down and stuff, for over there at the corner. And that's why earlier when I said I had a map of that over there, I did go to the property assessor's office to see who owned that corner. Eddie told me there was electricity over there, so I could plug lights in. And do like a Christmas in the city thing and put up a tree, maybe have some of the local churches come around and, you know, sing Christmas carols and do hot chocolate, or have somebody dress up as Santa. You know, just something for the city. They don't do Christmas in the park anymore. And, you know, just to give back to the community. And it would be nice, festive, you know, have it out there for between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and just do something like that. So, the only problem is I've been looking at all these books that David had, and these trees are fairly expensive. You can either get a lighted one, like just the lights itself, and do, you know, to do a tree lighting, or you can buy a tree like this one. And they're about $5,000. And I mean, they'll range all the way up to 10, 20,000. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much these are. But I have been looking around. I mean, it may not be something that we can purchase this year to do, but I thought it was a good idea. You know, I'm all about giving back to the community and trying to get the community more involved. I mean, we had our carnival over at the school Friday night, and I don't know if any of you drove by there or whatever, but there was all kinds of people there. And so I'm all about what we can do to help promote the community and, you know, do things like that, and, you know, get things out there. The trunk or treat was a great idea. Maybe in the spring we could do something for Easter or something, but that was with the Christmas tree light things. And it may take until next year to get it, but if somebody has any ideas about that, or what y'all's thought on something like that, or no, y'all don't want to do nothing, or
Could you go to a nursery and buy a live tree and plant it over there?
you could, but I heard rumors that the reason the tree got cut down was because it obscured the view from Scotty's. So I would hate to put a live tree there and somebody cut it back down again, because that was a big tree.
It was.
I don't know if it to be true, because I don't have a clue, but I heard that, but I'm just saying. So I would like something that we could put up and take
You
down.
couldn't see all the Shoney's from Scott.
Well, I
You
don't
don't
know.
wanna block that.
Yeah, so, that's the only thing, I mean, yeah, something like that would be great, that way we would have it there. That piece of property, we thought at one time was Davenport's, so that's why I went to the property assessor's office to see, and they gave me this little map, and it was TVA's or, you know, the cities or whatever, so, but that's why I thought, you know, it would be perfect, and it was right over there where that TWRA was that Friday, or over the weekend. So, but I'm just, I like the community involvement stuff, I think it's good, there's a lot of kids in that, you know, part of the county, or the city over there and stuff. And I just thought it would be something good, you know, and Christmas caroling, and, you know, one night
I
or
think
something,
it would be very good for the kids.
so.
Do we still have the lights that were, you know, we used to use on that tree over there?
They were always on.
They were in a tree.
Oh, when they cut it, okay.
What?
I forgot.
Was it on?
They didn't get electrocuted.
Was it
They
on?
didn't make
I
it.
haven't had a chance yet. And I am gonna check with the park to see how Kim and those guys, you know, put that one up there in the park, you know, to see. But I thought I
They
would
may
have,
be as well, they may be
I do
as
too,
expensive
I'm
as
not-
that, I
right.
don't know.
and that's what I was looking, there is some in some of these books that's just the lights, and I thought that would be fine too, you know, as long as you had, you know, something, I know we already ordered those the other Christmas lights out in here, but as long as you had, there's some displays in here like these that run up to $100,000. Yeah, it's unreal what some of them cost. But, and I know it's probably, and I probably should have really thought about this sooner, but I guess that when we were doing the trunk or treat thing, it just got me thinking, what can we do next, you know? And boom, here we were at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and, you know, it is probably too late to order one of these trees. But this one, say this one right here is only 18 foot, and it's $5,000, so. But I mean, it may be, yeah, something to look into, and, I mean, I want to be able to give back as much as we can, you know, to the community.
But these people up here on the hill, they sell big trees.
Really? Oh, I didn't think about that. I could go there and find out.
R&M.
R&M.
Do you think there's any
Are they
way-
like big 25, 30-foot trees? or-
I know, we went up there one year and they had pre-lit trees and stuff inside their building.
Oh, cool, okay, I'll go up there and check too. But I don't have a final price saying, okay, this is what I want us to purchase or anything. So, I probably should have had that before, should have had all my ducks in a row before I even suggested it. But I just kind of wanted to throw it out there for you
I
guys to.
think it's a good idea,
And maybe
like
next
he
year.
said, you might be able to find one up there, and you might be able to get with Kim and see how they do that. You might have to put a pole there
Mhm.
and do, I think that comes up through a ring or something that they do. It's
Right.
like a freight tree, but
Yeah,
you could have the
temporary
still
dressing.
potential of still getting it done. You might put a flagpole up there, and then when it's done, maybe fly a flag up there or something. I don't
That's
know,
true.
You know. Maybe
So,
go to the birds and the
I
fire.
mean, and we do still have time between now and, you know, we still have a meeting next
Mhm.
month, so I will see more into what I can do, and,
Tree there.
yeah.
That's $5,000.
This one right here is $75,000. Yeah, this one right here is $183,000.
They probably won't pay that at Proctor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Trump, that's Trump's tree.
So I will look more into it, since,
How they tree in there?
yeah,
Charlie Brown tree.
that's the one I
No,
think.
just under there. That's what
Okay.
we usually do. But I think it's a great idea.
Okay,
You
yeah.
want somebody maybe to have. I know up here, when they had that in the park, they had like, some people had like a carriage, and they was taking kids on carriage rides and stuff like that. You take them up there, you want to bring them back.
Yeah.
It'd be real nice, and plus, you get the Christmas lights up here, this the street up here, I mean,
Right, shout, they always
yeah,
light up
they all,
and
you
everything.
take them on a tour around that or something, you know?
Right, and I figure if, you know, if you ask some of the churches to get involved with like
Mhm.
Christmas, singing Christmas carols and stuff
I'm
like
sure
that,
they'd
they would,
love
you know,
that.
think that was great,
Mhm.
so. So I'm gonna work towards that, and it may be something to vote on next month, because I'm not
Well-
prepared.
Our meeting next month will be the 14th.
Oh, well, we may not
Well,
get there,
I mean, it's-
so,
Well, we just go ahead and give her amount to use tonight, to purchase this stuff, we said, man, we heard, go ahead.
I think it'd be a good thing, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's a
do
good
too.
idea.
I mean, I'm trying, I've been working on it, I went to Sevierville yesterday, and looked at lights and, at their little shop that they have up there and everything, trying to be ready for today, and I just couldn't get it all together in time, so, but I mean, I really wanna do something because I think it will be good, you know,
Well, I
and
think we just need
advertise
to
it.
give you permission to do
To do it.
something there, you know,
Okay.
and use your discretion at, you know, the problem, I mean, not
Okay.
having for one of the trees is probably high, in my
Yeah.
opinion, but.
That's what I'm thinking.
Our
I'm
big
thinking
lobby
like-
usually has too, a percentage of it, but one for
Yeah.
the church that is like 20-some feet down.
Well,
See, would it have to be an outdoor one that could be kind
Oh,
of.
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
big.
I thought about that.
Okay, I will let you know what I find
Yeah.
out, but I will,
Well, that way you'll
my
have it.
goal is to get this done and do
Mhm.
something for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which leads me into the next one, is since we're not voting on that, the next
Yeah,
one is
okay.
mine too, which is the Christmas
Okay.
tree lights
All right.
contest. We're gonna go ahead and advertise for that, you know, maybe hopefully with this and that tied together. I cannot for the life of me remember what we gave away last year, but I think this year, I'm just gonna throw out a price and see what you all think. I think first place, we should do like around $300, second place should be 200, and first place should be 100. Cause I wanna think last year we did maybe like 25, 50, and 150 or something. I mean, I don't think it was. And, you know, if you up it a little bit, maybe you'll get more people to participate, I don't know. So,
I
whatever.
think that's a good price on
I mean,
that.
what do y'all think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
for
good.
that.
And if, in the two, we could probably run it in the paper a couple weeks earlier than normal.
How do you set that up? Do you like take applications for people, that wanna be in that?
They
and then
call in,
They call
Yeah,
in
give
and
us
get
all
on the
the
list.
yeah. And I can go ahead
There's
and
some really
advertise
good
it
ones
like
like
on the
that.
1st of December
Mm-hmm.
or the end of November,
Yeah.
and then,
I put it
then
in the
advertise it
email.
again
Yeah.
right before Christmas.
Right, I would start like right after Thanksgiving and let
Okay.
them know.
Yeah, I think after Thanksgiving, people will start putting their lights up, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
that might give you a little extra time to.
Do we need to vote on that since it's over $500?
I guess, go ahead and make that my full motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to do the Christmas lights at that price, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, motion made.
Second.
Second motion, any discussion? Call it, please.
Mr. Glenn Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Heather Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Eric Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Beth Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Lloyd Lawson.
Yes.
Mayor Stanley.
Yes. All right, city, council to discuss city administrator position.
I had that one put on there. It's been a year since we took it as far as me and Beth's been on the board. A lot of confusion that I've seen. Just, for instance, tonight with the whole assistant chief, the city administrator we had could solve a lot of the problems that we're faced with. Now, I'm not saying we hire one tonight. I said we're 4 months into this year already. Just for the council, something to start thinking of between now and the first of the year. Where we stand at, is that something that we want to pursue going forward? There's people out there in this town that would be great city administrators. Got a few names pops in my head right off. So going forward the next couple of months, let's just kind of keep it in mind. In order to keep things simple, if we end up in a position we don't want to be in, let's take it some time.
We've had them before. We've had city administrators before. Who was the last one that we had?
Jim.
Jim Ryan's.
Ryan's.
Jim Ryan's. he got a couple of big grants for us, I think.
I think he was a part-time.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
part-time.
part-time.
He got us some grants, didn't he? What did he get? He got a big one there one time.
I know that we got some grants from the other administrators too.
You got streetlights.
The street light, that's what it was. We got the street lights under the last administrator. That was a good deal.
So how did that position, did he just quit and then there was nobody else there?
There was no money there for it.
That
Yeah,
right.
The
permanent.
street lights worked out pretty good for us. That broke the city. Great deal.
I'm glad we got streetlights down there, so
Yeah.
we don't have the homeless people camped out down there. It's for the safety of our
Well, we was
citizens.
about the homeless here.
We got
3 years ago.
Purchased the
We
fireman.
was about bankrupt.
We got
That's where the city administrator would play a benefit to us as far as somebody constantly sitting on top of the books and watch over it. No voice standing there and watching
Yeah.
finance stays.
The gateway to the city, to the county.
We are.
We are.
I said, it's just something to throw out there and think of for the next few months.
All right. And then the purchasing policy.
The purchasing policy, everybody should have a copy of the purchasing policy they have with. Signing POs, signing POs, that are PO for 14, 17, 21. Last couple of weeks, it's been $7 and $9. We're signing purchase orders for. My personal opinion, I want to bring it to vote, make it a form of motion. But we're really handicapping our department heads with these POs that says this way. I know that several of you, I don't like that, even saying that, but we've got department heads in place that are being paid to do their job. They're in that position, or they wouldn't be in that position if they wasn't doing their job. Personally, the way that I look at it, it's micromanagement, or get 3 signatures for a $7 purchase order. Paperwork in hand, it just, to me, it's redundant. Anybody else wants to comment on it, they're more than welcome to.
How do you keep records of funds if you don't have purchase orders?
Your department heads,
Keeps a record, a book? I've never seen that done at any business, but I might be wrong.
Eddie, you have receipts, Eddie, you've got receipts, I mean, everything that we purchase in the fire department is receipted.
We get a printout Pat gives us a printout of what our budget is every month.
You know, you could say, if you want it for bookkeeping purposes, you could say, do the purchase order, but not require a certain amount of signatures, have the department head signature for up to a certain amount, and then anything over that amount, whatever we decided on, would require, you know, we're saying 3 signatures, so if you had your department head and 2 of us, because then we go down here and we say, if it's over, that was at 500, if it's over, what is it, 1,500? Purchase amount of 500 or more must have 3 signatures on the purchase order approved by the majority and approval by the majority of the board and mayor of prior to ordering.
What'd you say?
$500 is not much at all.
Because it's been changed.
I mean, you just go buy some little something for the car and
We
it's
did
$500.
The reason.
One tire is not $50.
Right. It's sometimes hard to get 3 people down here to sign purchase orders.
We're having a problem, and I know everybody's busy, but the department heads, especially the street and the fire and the police, are having trouble running their departments because we don't have 3 signatures. I mean, it goes for like over a week that they're waiting on stuff. And we have to wait till 3.
Well, I think that the original, which we couldn't find when we looked for, that's why we made this one. It got gone. But I like your idea about putting something together where the department heads have a certain amount you know, and they have to sign it, as long as somebody's signing it, you know, but I don't know, you know, you might wanna look at that limit, you know, if it's, I mean, what are you thinking about? I mean, obviously, $1,100 for David Craig, I mean, anytime they have something, a lot of times it's big, you know, I don't know why we, you know, stuff like that, we always have to vote on it.
Lawnmower blades, oil changes,
Yeah.
police department, these guys are going through oil changes.
Yeah.
We have to, every 3,000 miles.
So I mean, you know, that's pretty regular.
Maintenance.
Yes, so we shouldn't
What-
have to sign
what-
off on
what's
something
the
like
number
that.
you-
That's,
you think would be okay, because as long as they're signed, I still would want
And
a
they're within
purchase
their
order
budget.
made for the purposes of bookkeeping, still made and signed by the department heads
Yeah.
to a certain amount, because you cannot let the money trail go.
everything needs to match
Nope.
up. I agree.
Because when you do, money's gone, nobody knows.
And then you're trying to backtrack the count, but where'd it go? You whittled it down here, here, and here.
Well, and the other thing is with the purchase orders, they're always in sequence. It's like checks. So when people grab one and then they predate it or post-date it, like, oh yeah, I signed off on that, and it doesn't follow in accordance, that also kinda helps keep a record of misconduct, if that happened. So it's just a good record. I think we need to keep the purchase orders for sure, but I like your idea. What amount are you thinking? I mean, definitely like oil change, stuff like that, it's just so redundant, like Eric said, I agree with that.
Well, what's up, our department heads, I mean, what's a good figure, because, you know, your everyday maintenance
Do a lot.
thing is gonna come.
I'd say like $100 or
$100.
less would be wonderful to us right now.
Yes, anything a hundred or less, the
anything
department
would
head could sign.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I don't.
As
either.
long, but I do want it understood, from my part, and the council's got the final say, but from my point, I want a purchase order made. Because I don't want money going out of the city and us not having a record. That has happened here before, and I think that sometimes that's why we didn't know where money went. Nah, you know, I think we need to keep that party, have the purchase order, and they sign off on
Yeah,
it,
we
the
look back on
department
purchase
heads.
orders to look up stuff a lot.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
we,
And the auditor's gonna go through
Yeah.
those.
I think
We
purchase
gotta
orders
have
are necessary, but just not.
$100 okay?
I think it's a good limit.
You
Yes.
guys
Do we
have
need
that?
to have 3 signatures?
Brian, what do you, $100, yeah, I mean,
They don't, I mean, you mostly just have like,
What's the oil change?
$35.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, that's redundant.
$100 is fine with me. What
So
about you,
with
Lord?
$100 or less, just the department head signature? Or-
I think so, that, I mean, I don't,
And as long as they keep up with their receipts,
That's
like
what
As
I
the
long
said,
as it's
auditor
within their
suggests.
budget, and they've
Right,
not
mate.
overspent their budget, yes.
I don't think. Make a motion.
The second thing on this.
Oh, whoa, hold up.
Wait a minute, what about the number of signatures then on the other purchase orders then,
Remain
instead
the
of
same, remain the same.
have 3?
yeah, cause if
I
you're
think
spending
that's pretty
between
good.
100 to 500, then I think 3 people
Yeah.
probably should see it.
Well, could one be a department head? I mean, two. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, I think that 3 counts, I mean, I do, I mean, that's just getting, I mean, that's just my,
Because-
I think 3 is good.
The $100 or 99 down is gonna cover.
It's gonna cover a lot of it.
stuff.
A lot.
I agree.
Well, we could change that, see how that goes.
I think it'd be so
Is
much
that-
easier.
Yeah, I
What
think,
do you think, Eric?
Always up it.
yeah,
The other thing is putting out sealed bids.
Bid.
Or we need to raise our bid bottom up. You know, how many times we've sit here and we don't have no bids on it?
Yeah. It's such a small amount that a lot of people don't want
I'm
to
not
go through
with
the
you
bid
there.
process. for
I
that.
ain't either, I thought that would be better.
What,
I can't, your lower amounts, we're not getting no bids back. I mean, it's, we're taking the time out, if we wanna bid something out for David or Brian to purchase something that's over $1,500, then we ain't getting nothing back, they still end up going through whoever they need to in the first place.
So you're saying instead of $1,500, there should be more than that?
I would think so. Like I said, I'm throwing this out here for you all to decide along with me. If you don't agree with it, that's fine, but
I don't see how that helps, making it more.
it allows them to make purchases with 3 signatures versus.
Okay, you're saying make the cap bigger
So we don't have to bid
So
on
you don't have to bid
everything.
small amounts.
on bids, yeah. Well, essentially what you're saying is, we wouldn't get bids, anything, it'd have to be like, let's say if it doubled $3,000 before we put it out for bid. Other than that, we would just get some estimates and then the board would vote on it
Yes.
and not put it out for bid.
And it save you all time from having to sit and wait a week or whatever it takes for you to.
Now, our auditor suggested 5,000, she said possibly 10.
Yeah.
That's was her
I
suggestion.
think the county's 5,000.
The county's out.
It's 5, you gotta get 3 quotes, anything over 10.
Yeah. It is, that's a county.
So what is it?
5,000 for the county.
So you get three quotes of 5,000.
How many items do we have that's over that? I mean, how many bids, I mean, I just know of like 2 or 3 things that we put out for bid this year, don't think, I mean, the roads, and I said I was gonna put out a bid on that fence, I don't even know, I said that, I don't even know if it'll reach 15, I mean, I guess it will, I don't know, I can't remember what fence it costs. But we don't do that much, we did the flooring and paint and everything, right, and the roof.
And the last time we did.
Was any of that stuff, how much was that stuff?
The roof,
I know the
Mm-hmm.
roof
I think it was like, 12,000.
12,000.
Yeah,
And how many bids you get on that? One?
one bid. Yeah. Well, my suggestion would be, if we put it out to bid,
Yeah.
it needs to be took care of. Followed up with. It don't need to lay around, 2 months or something. Because I know that a lot of people that I have talked with, really don't wanna come down here and bid nothing. Because,
Takes forever.
yeah, I mean, they don't wanna come, well, they say, well, they're gonna change their mind, they ain't gonna do it. It's just, it takes a lot of time out of their schedule to come down here and
And it's
bid this
money.
thing 3 times. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and it's money out of their pocket
Yeah, it
every
is.
time we're down here.
I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that,
No, you're right, you're right.
But if we do change this, we're gonna have to change this
Yeah,
purchasing policy
right,
and an
right.
ordinance,
Right.
you know.
Let's change it to $3,000.
I'm in agreement with you, Lloyd. At least 3,000. Yeah.
That help you, Brian? Dave?
We can't change this
Well,
tonight
I
anyway.
help you
so
with
we're-
No,
Brian.
we can't change it tonight, it has to go through 2
Brian.
readings.
Yeah.
What will that help you with?
We'd
Raising
have to
up anything
rewrite it.
like, especially
We
maintenance
do
work,
it. We did it
what,
next
on
month.
vehicles, maintenance work,
Can't make
stuff
a
like that, I
motion.
mean, if something big goes down, we could go ahead and get it done.
brakes,
I'm talking about transmission, motor, or something big.
Yeah, something big.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
trying to think.
It's good for the street department.
So-
Some of the brakes, it's normally $2,000-$2,500, so, yeah, street department.
so we have a big delay the way it stands, because it's gotta be approved.
It'd be, it'd have to be bid, yeah.
So you're saying the number out there is $3,000 and under,
No bids,
no bids?
anything over 3 bids.
It still has to be
I think
voted.
you're
So
right.
we
Phone
have to,
bids.
we have to drop a new
What?
order.
Now, phone bids is 3,000 under, it's phone bids, get some kind of
Yeah,
number
we'll
showed
have
up
to do
there, I
that.
don't, that's what the state is.
Oh, okay.
You got a certain, now you get 3 phone bids and that's it.
You still have to get a quote for something,
Well,
but you don't have
here's
to
kind of
do
where,
a sealed bid, right?
Well, if
Yeah.
you go back to David or Brian or whoever, they're gonna have to shop around anyway, it's what I hope you do anyway.
well, that's what we hope they do, But I think the whole bidding system originally was maybe put in so that if somebody has a friend that's an electrician, that they don't get everything. That's what I was told. That's why the bids was that, and that way it's in an open situation. You know, $1,500, it doesn't seem like much. $3,000, I mean, that's not much when it's the city's money, right? But what if that's our household? $3,000 a lot to you guys?
But my thing is, you're still gonna get yourself two or three different
Yeah.
quotes, you know, I would.
I mean,
would check
well, then
around.
maybe we need to put that in there.
Yeah. I
Cause
mean-
the quotes are definitely faster than the bids. Cause you gotta put, and we save
Yeah.
money too, because we gotta put it in paper. How about that? With that, as long as we get 3 quotes and then kinda go with the best quote.
Yeah, that's what I think too,
That's good.
quotes.
Quotes for how much?
3,000.
Under 3,000 and under?
500 to 3,000? I
Yeah.
mean, you don't wanna get a quote for $100.
Right now.
No,
So you need
no.
a new baseline there, over $500, 3 quotes?
Yep.
Over
Yeah, well-
3 quotes.
We'll have to rewrite this, amendment, though, we'll have to have two reads on it.
Yeah, that'd be all changed.
Mhm.
I mean, we can't do nothing tonight anyway on it.
No.
3,000 is probably a good number.
If it's anything over 3, we bid on it.
We'll make some notes on that and then try to get that put in the ordinance and get that changed and then vote on the, yeah?
Do we have to vote on it tonight, or?
No, she's gotta change it in the ordinance, then we gotta bring the ordinance for us and then we gotta vote on it. So, and then if it passes, then we'll have a second reading on it. So,
That's all we can do.
right,
That's all we
But-
can do.
so that we're clear, everybody still will get a purchase order, right? Everybody still gets a purchase order.
So this, what
Is
it
that
says,
true?
emergency purchases,
If,
that needs to be changed to 3,000.
Oh, now that is emergency purchases in the amount of,
okay, good meeting tonight. Anything else come through, before the board tonight?
okay, wait a minute, she had a
Okay,
question.
hold
This
on,
down here
sorry.
where it says emergency or time limit on section 5, does that need to be changed to 3,000?
Where's that at?
On the-
Well, yeah, I mean, if it corresponds,
Section
yes. Hey, you took mine.
Taking notes on it.
Yeah, I think you did.
Emergency purchases in the amount of 1,500 or over less than 10. That reduced to 3,000.
Yes.
I got good suggestions, good meeting. Good suggestions. All right, anything else?
We'll go through y'all.
If not, and just to mention, everybody is gonna get their, here's the phone, the city employees is gonna get it when,
It'll be on
they'll-
their 20.
you'll get it before all the shopping days start, the Black Friday thing, so you'll get that before, or your wife